Please do make sure to subscribe, like and share to support us for more stories. The rumble of engines always scared me. They were loud, rough, and wild, like thunder that never waited for rain. But that evening, that roar became my only hope. I was barefoot, my little legs bruised and trembling as I ran down the dusty road. The setting sun burned orange across the cracked asphalt, and the tears on my face mixed with dust and blood. Behind me, in that broken house, my mama screamed, her voice weak, desperate, fading with every cry. And then I saw them. A row of black motorcycles parked outside the old diner. Jackets with flaming skulls. Tattoos, leather, and smoke. The Hells Angels. The men everyone in town was too afraid to talk to. I didn't think twice. I ran toward them, gasping, choking on tears, and screamed, "Please, they're beating my mama. Please help." Every biker froze. Cigarettes fell from lips. Folk stopped midair. The air grew heavy. And in that silence, in the middle of their thunder, a promise of something dark began to stir. That was the day everything changed. That was the day I learned monsters don't always ride bikes, and angels don't always wear wings. My name's Lila, and I was only 9 years old the night the world showed me what pain really was. Mama and I lived in a small house at the edge of Pine Hollow, a forgotten town where the lights barely worked and the sheriff always looked the other way. Mama cleaned houses for rich folks, and I helped her scrub floors and carry laundry. She always said we were gonna make it out of here someday, but someday never came. That night, her boyfriend, Rick, came home drunk again. The smell of cheap whiskey hit me before I even saw him. Mama whispered, "Go to your room, baby." But I didn't. I stood at the hallway corner, clutching my teddy bear, and watched as he grabbed her by the arm. "Where's the money, Tina?" he yelled. "I told you, I don't have it yet," she cried. "You lying again." His voice was like a growl. And then came the first slap. The sound was sharp, like a branch snapping in the cold. Mama fell against the counter. My teddy slipped from my hand. I wanted to run to her, but I was frozen, paralyzed with fear and hate. He kept hitting her, over and over, until she could barely stand. Then he pushed her to the floor and kicked her stomach. That's when something inside me broke. I ran out of the house barefoot, tears blinding me, not even thinking, just running. The only light came from the diner at the highway bend. I followed it, praying someone would listen. And that's when I saw them, the Hells Angels, their bikes lined up like steel beasts. They were loud, tattooed, and terrifying. One of them, a tall man with a scar across his cheek, turned when he saw me. His name, I'd later learn, was Blaze. "What's wrong, kid?" he asked, his voice deep and rough. They're beating my mama." I cried, grabbing his jacket. "Please, mister, please help her." The other bikers exchanged looks. One stood up, cracking his knuckles. Another muttered, "Damn." Blaze knelt down, his eyes burning like steel. "Where?" I pointed down the road. "Our house, the one with the broken porch." He nodded once, then turned to his crew. "You heard her," he said. "Let's ride." Engines roared. Tires spat gravel, and I ran behind them as fast as my legs could go. By the time we reached the house, Rick was dragging Mama by her hair. He froze when he saw the bike screech to a halt. Blaze stepped forward, slow and steady, his boots crunching glass. Rick laughed nervously. "Who the hell are you?" Blaze didn't answer. He just looked at Mama, bleeding, trembling, then back at Rick. What kind of man hits a woman? Blaze asked coldly. Rick tried to act tough. Ain't none of your damn business. That was his last mistake. Before I could blink, Blaze grabbed him by the shirt and slammed him against the wall. The other bikers surrounded him like wolves. One of them held Mama, gently helping her to a chair. Rick swung a punch. Blaze didn't flinch. He caught it midday, twisted Rick's arm behind his back, and whispered something I'll never forget. Pain's easy to give. Let's see how well you take it. Then came the sound of justice, not from a judge, not from a cop, but from men who'd seen too much wrong in the world to ignore another. By the time they were done, Rick wasn't laughing anymore. He was on the ground, begging, his pride broken along with his jaw. Blaze turned to me. You okay, kid? I nodded through my tears. Mama, she needs help. He carried her out like she weighed nothing. One of the bikers brought their van, and they took us to the hospital. They waited there all night. Not one of them left. Mama kept whispering, why'd they help us? Blaze just shrugged. 'Cause somebody should have. When the cops came, Blaze told them everything. Rick was arrested. Mama never saw him again. It's been 15 years since that night. Mama got better. She opened a small diner on that same road. We named it Angel's Rest. Every year, a group of bikers still stops by. Same jackets, same noise, same hearts of steel. And me, I never forgot what they did. When I turned 21, I started a women's shelter for girls like me, for women like Mama. Above the door, there's a plaque that reads, For the angels who ride through darkness to bring someone home. Last month, a little girl came running through our doors crying, They are hurting my mom. And I saw myself all over again, small, terrified, desperate. So I called a number I hadn't dialed in years. Within 30 minutes, the rumble of engines filled the night again. And when those bikers rolled up outside the shelter, I smiled through my tears. Because I knew, sometimes, angels don't fall from heaven. They ride,